Yeah, hey guys, welcome back to this channel. Hope you have a wonderful day. My name is Ronnie. I'll be your host as always. This channel will talk about personal finance, my personal finance, everyone's personal finance, little tips and tricks that I learned so far in order for us to be financially free, financially wealthy, and live beyond 9 to 5. If you guys like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, comment, as well as thumbs up. That will be muchly appreciated. In today's video, I'm going to talk about equity. There's I'm sure if you are in a property market or if you're in the business of creating wealth with property, you heard the word of equity. People have still this mindset till this day that using an equity as a leverage is a good idea. So for myself, personally, after what I've experienced, taking an equity to buy another property, it is not a good idea. No. There's a few different reasons why I say this. Is because when you take out an equity, so picture this. If you're not, I'm explaining it to people out there who doesn't actually have a property, or thinking of buying a property, or thinking of taking an equity to buy another investment property. So when you're first buying a property, my very first one, we have to save up a lot of money. You're looking at years and years, and you got to be frugal with your life, I guess. You got to live below your means, save up as much as you can. If you can save up like 50% or something like that of your income, that would be great. So that's your starting point. But you're gonna have a lot of sacrifices involved with that as well. So for example, not going out, not spending a lot of actually entertainment activities, and you do a lot of free activities, which what we did. My wife and I did that. And then after that, once you've actually got a certain big amount of money, we classify that as a deposit on a property. Okay, so 15%, 20%, 25%, 5%, whatever it is, the figure that you're looking at in your head. So in our instance, we bought it based on a 5% deposit. Now 5% deposit is a bad idea because, coming from my experience, you'll be going through lender's mortgage insurance, LMI. So it's pretty much a security for the bank, not for you. In case you default, or for whatever reason you cannot make any repayment, they're going to repossess your property, sell it at a loss, and get the difference from the lender's mortgage insurance. That's how I see it from my point of view. But at the same time, you're, as a consumer, paying for that. Not the bank, you're the consumer. So that's what LMI is. And that's what I personally did. Then, after that, after a long period of time, you purchase the property, you're holding it. And when you did your visibility, expecting that this property should be making at least break even, or if not positively geared. In reality, it might not be the case. In reality, it might be on a minus. What do you do when you're on a minus? There's a few factors that comes in mind. You either sell it at a loss, but at the same time, the equivalent that mean, in your mind anyway, you defeat. You pretty much feel like it's an end game because you work so hard and you minus X amount of dollars per week cash flow. That wasn't fun. At the same time, I think it was like about 4 years later after purchasing the property, reevaluate, going to the bank, and then ask for hey bank, how much does this particular property value today? They did their numbers, they did their calculation. After they're doing their punching in their computers, they said, you can take out an extra X amount of dollars out from that property. So what would that mean? So it would mean my debt load now goes up. So when your debt load, your mortgage goes up, what does that mean? It means your repayment goes up. Your terms getting smaller, your terms of how long would it pay the property, Now, instead of a 30-year mortgage, 4 years later, you take out the equity. Now we've only got 26 years to pay off. So not only your mortgage goes up, your term's getting shorter. What would that mean? Your repayment goes up. So that's the simple format of it. Now some people actually goes, but you can get an equity out and buy another investment property and get the tenant to pay it off. That's great if the market of the rental meet your repayment for your investment property as well as your other one. What if they don't? 90% of the time they don't. They don't match, because if you're buying it in Metro anyway, you look at it, oh, the rental income is this amount and this amount of yield rental income. Like, yeah, that's great, all about numbers. Reality, like rental yield to me is like, doesn't make any sense. For me, I was like, I don't get how people have the concept of that, thinking that this is the rental yield of X amount percent is good. But you gotta remember, you've still got your mortgage repayment from that property and then this property mortgage repayment. So you got two. And you've also haven't calculated the expenditure on the property. Water rate, council rate, insurance, strata, in case anything happened, emergency fund, let's say, on buying a property or owning a property, for instance. You haven't calculated any of those. If anything goes wrong, how are you going to be able to pay the mortgage repayment? In a property business, you are controlling a debt. You are at the biggest risk, the biggest risk factor, let's say. Because if you don't make any repayment, the bank will then take your property away from you and sell it at a loss. It will provide you a lot of stress. This is coming from my experience. I've been there and it wasn't fun. So just because you're able to take out, XYZ dollar figure out from your property and then purchase another one, so that means you're a lot more riskier. So instead of you, let's say, if your investment property one minus $100 and you take out an equity, repayment goes up, and buy another property, this repayment goes up, maybe goes up by a little bit, and that becomes minus $125 per week, as an example. And then you buy another property that is minus another $100 as an example. You wait, so that's already minus $125 on one. Property number two, minus $100 per week again. So that makes it, you are minus $225 per week. Property goes up in value, you take out the equity, you do the same thing. Then your repayment going to go minus $125 on one, $125 on two. So you're out every week $250 just to service these two properties. Is it really worth it? Nope. That's per week. If you multiply that by, a whole year, I'm done. I don't know how much that would be. And then you take out the equity out again on that property number two, and then buy another negative figuring property that is going to cost you another minus $100, an example. So that would mean 3 properties, $350. Goes up in value, and then do the same routine over and over again. At a certain point, you don't have any more money. At a certain point, you cannot service the loan. At a certain point, it will create a lot of stress in your life. I was one of them. And don't get me wrong, that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun at all. However, you have to look at it in a different way. How can you actually gain this? Now, I was able to turn that around. Instead of a minus $125 on the first property example, this property has to create me a positive of $100 per week. Life is much better when it's plus $100 per week instead of minus $100 every week. But you gotta think outside of the square. Do I use debt? A little bit, not as much. Do I believe in using debt now? Not anymore. Had I known what I know now, I would have, instead of 5%, I would have saved as much as we can. In fact, the fact that we were able to pay off our mortgage within about 7 years, that is a big relief. Now, I don't have the pressure of making an extra repayment. And if anything happened, for example, like a COVID hit, a pandemic hit, that's okay. I can take that hit because I've got emergency fund. I've got enough money in the bank. And if my tenant require relief for whatever reason, tenant relief for a certain number of period of time, I can afford to do that. And it does not affect me in the long term. So yeah, to me, it doesn't make any sense. Take out an equity, buy another property, even though this first one, it's at minus. If it's break even, that alone is not a good idea. When you buy your first property and it's break even, it's not a good idea. Because of this, if you take out an equity, it will be a minus. When you take out an equity, it means you are upstamping your loan. Your debt load is getting higher. When your debt load is getting higher, when your mortgage is getting bigger, simple equation would be your repayment will gonna get bigger. When your repayment get bigger, as well as that, your term on your mortgage, let's say if it's a 30-year mortgage, and now it's already at, it took you 5 years before you can go back to the bank and ask an equity coming up. So that means you've got only 25 years to pay off the loan. When you do that, that means your repayments not only gets higher, it's shorter, because you got to pay in 25 years instead of 30. So yeah, hopefully this makes a sense for some of you out there who is thinking of not doing the property investing. Like, I'm a bit different in a sense of I'm trying to get out of debt. I try not to leverage debt, and I try not to use debt when it comes to property investing. Use everything in cash. That's what I'm doing. And that's what I realized, life is a lot more simpler if you pay everything in cash, when you don't have any more payments. I mean, don't get me wrong, it might be a bit wrong that I'm saying this, but you should try it. If you are a property investor out there, have multiple investment property, how about try it? Try it in a sense of have a property that have no debt, no mortgage. See how you feel. And if you don't like it, and you prove me wrong, that it's not fun not having any mortgage, not having any repayment, apparently that's not a good thing to do, then hey, prove me wrong, and you can get your mortgage. You can get your equity and do that instance of buying another property using equity out minus $100, buy another property using equity out minus another $100. Do that. But for me, it's the other way around. I go, you know what, pay a house in cash, have rental income, don't spend that rental income, save it up, buy another property in cash, receive that rental income, don't spend that rental income, save it, buy another property in cash. So which one do you guys prefer? Being mortgaged for 30 plus years, or no mortgage forever? As in for life. As in, I can do whatever I want with this property now. If I choose to sell it, I can. And that's my nest egg. If I choose to keep it, to leave a legacy, that's what I'm doing. I can. If I choose to get a mortgage, for instance, using the property as a line of credit, I can. But you gotta try my way first before trying the easy way. The easy way, yeah, definitely get a credit, get a mortgage. But my way is a lot more fun in the sense of I've got no one to report to, and every week I've got or every month I don't have any mortgage repayment to deal with. That's just my 2 cents, guys. Hopefully this information provides you a lot of knowledge on how I go about doing things. It might be a little bit different than other people out there. So yeah. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.